Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is going to be traveling to Montana this coming weekend to campaign for Rob Quist, who's running in a special election to replace Ryan Zinke in the state of Montana. The election takes place May 25th. Now, Eric wanted me to share a quick little story with you guys about how I broke this news the other day. It is a trade secret, and if I share it with you, you have to promise that you will not tell anybody outside of this video. I noticed that Rob Quist had said somewhere on his website that if you sign up for his text alerts, you'll be the first to learn about things. So I was like, I'll do that. I'll sign up for a text alert. Boom. I got a text message from their campaign saying Bernie Sanders would be coming out to Montana. No other reporter had decided to sign up for this thing. So I was able to scoop it. First of all, this is a state that has not elected a Democrat to the House for decades. It is a state that Donald Trump won by some 20 points. However, Republicans are deeply concerned about this seat, and for good reason. They put up kind of a cartoon plutocrat, this guy Greg Gianforte, who is a New Jersey kind of software entrepreneur who built a program that allows companies to more efficiently offshore jobs. He then built his kind of data center area out in Montana, so he's responsible for hiring hundreds of people in the state. He moved out there. He sold his company to, I believe, Oracle for like $1.5 billion, and he tried to buy the governor's mansion in 2016. He failed. So now, with this special election, he's running again. He's running against a bluegrass legend from the state. Rob Quist has been a well-known figure in Montana for close to 40 years now. He was it's kind of hilarious what a good kind of political resume he has, despite not being a politician. He was a high school basketball champion. Then he was a basketball star at the University of Montana. Then he was in the band Montana. He toured around with the Grateful Dead. In the early 1970s, for a benefit concert, he organized what the Guinness Book of World Records says is the largest keg party in world history. He took those organizing skills recently and kind of went around the entire state of Montana during the Democratic primary, and when he found a county that didn't have a Democratic party, he would find people there and say, hey, you guys, why don't you guys form a Democratic county party here and then come to the convention? And so several new county parties were formed. Those people were then made delegates to the convention. They came to the convention and they nominated Rob Quist, who during the 2016 primary had supported Bernie Sanders against Hillary. Bernie won the Montana primary. He's a supporter of single-payer health care. He supports legalizing marijuana, which he affirmed in a debate, which takes some courage. It's one thing as a musician to say you support legalizing weed. It's another thing to stand up in a campaign trail in a red state and say that you support it. So he hasn't backed down from a lot of his populist positions. And so Sanders is now going to be campaigning across the state with him on the 20th and 21st of May during early voting and leading up to the 25th of May. Now, what does the election really matter? There are 435 members of Congress. Does it really matter? Think about this. Obamacare was repealed by just 2 votes. And so if Democrats send another member from Montana, if they send somebody from Georgia, if they can steal a seat in South Carolina even, one, it requires Paul Ryan to twist the arms of some more vulnerable members of Congress and put them on record, further imperiling them in November, or he simply doesn't have the votes. The Senate is not going to pass the House health care bill word for word. So if they change one single word, that means it has to go to a conference committee and then it has to come back through the House of Representatives. So the House is not done with this. So if you tip the balance of power by just a couple of digits, that matters. Separately, if in the wake of this healthcare vote, a state like Montana sends a Democrat to Congress, and particularly a Democrat who's calling for single-payer healthcare and running against the repeal of Obamacare, then it tells anybody, any member of Congress who is a Republican and won by 20 points or less, that they now need to worry about their own careers, and that further makes it more difficult for them to repeal Obamacare, imperil benefits for people who have pre-existing conditions, and on. And it also gets Congress one vote closer to single payer. finally, the national implications, I think, for Sanders himself and the movement around him are huge. He went out to Omaha. He endorsed the Omaha candidate there, Heath Mello. Mello lost by 7 points. That's not a terribly embarrassing loss. In the past, Democrats weren't even competitive in these mayoral elections, but it's still an L. And so Sanders doesn't want to take too many L's. So if he goes out to Montana and Rob Quist pulls off an upset when most national Democrats were ignoring him, then all of a sudden Bernie has major coattails, and people are going to be clamoring for him to campaign for them around the country. And in order to get him to campaign for them, they're going to have to kind of be on the platform that Sanders supports. So you're going to see a lot of Democrats then around the country saying, hey, I'm for single payer, I'm for the fight for 15, I'm for breaking up the banks. And if you see that, it shifts the party further in Sanders' direction. If Rob Quist loses out in Montana, then it says to people, well, maybe Sanders' power is fading a little bit. So this is one that is worth watching. Early voting has already started. The election is going to be May 25th, which is next Thursday.